I guess this is the last day, I guess, of not camp, but just the last day to prepare for the regular season. Is there anything you try to check off with your list specifically on a day like this to just get those final preparations in?
Yeah, I mean, you go through and see the things that you may not have spent as much time as you would have liked. A lot of the small things, corner out of bounds, like situational things. But today was a tune-up, right? It was have everything that we have in, both offensively and defensively, touch on it as best we possibly can, and then give guys an opportunity to ask questions and then rep it out so that we have it down.
And where's the comfort level with this team at now compared to the beginning of camp, if you had to try to quantify that in any way?
I mean, that's tough, obviously. Like, I've got a lot of belief in our guys, but it's difficult to tell where a team is just through a preseason. Typically it's one of those things where you got to make the rounds of the league and play everybody in the league one time to kind of see where you fit. So this is something we've got to be extremely patient with, and we're not rushing it.
With that said, how eager are you to see this group together in competition against a team like the Pacers? And also, is there something that you're looking for in Game 1?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Obviously, anytime you have an opportunity to be a part of something new, you look forward to it. I look more forward to it with this group of guys because of who they are, what they've done, what they've been through. So we're excited to go out and get it started. Playing against really good teams to start the season, it stresses what you do, and it puts what we've been teaching, under pressure. And so now how do we handle it versus pressure and those types of things? And then going through it together, like in the preseason, you don't have the weight of wins and losses, as you do in the regular season. So learning everybody's personality, how we handle those things, that'll be the fun part for us.
As the
personal
former
level.
coach of the Cavaliers, you're used to this division, which means you're used to the Indiana Pacers. How much did the midseason trade of Pascal Siakam kind of change the trajectory of that team?
I mean, anytime you add a weapon like that, it makes you difficult to defend. Because they play at such a tempo anyway, they play so fast. Now you add a guy at the 4 position who plays a unique style that stresses teams even more. His ability to create in one-on-one situations, to handle the ball, to play make, those types of things, and then what they do with him defensively. Add him to Tyrese Haliburton, and those guys, and it just makes them that much more difficult to defend.
On a personal level, to hear your name announced as an NBA head coach on opening night, is that a feeling that ever gets old for you?
I honestly don't pay much attention to that type of stuff, just to be honest with you. Like, our focus is always on the guys and the team, so we're trying to pay attention to give them what they need. Hopefully 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you sit back and have an opportunity to think about those things, but just trying to stay present for the guys at this point.
I'm sure you've heard Mason announce inside Pistons games, but he'll maybe put a little spin on your name. I mean, just look from where you were in Cleveland to now, and to be a part of this organization, and who knows what that future was going to be for you. Is there a moment that you'll step back even before the opener tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, the introduction here has always been iconic. So even as a visitor, you would listen for it, and just see how he was going to do it. And the Detroit basketball obviously was something. So I'm looking forward to be a part of that because I think this organization is storied, and I'm thankful to be a part of it.
Just going back to your familiarity with the division, what type of challenge does Tyrese Haliburton pose for your backcourt?
He's just a dynamic basketball player who thinks, one step ahead. He's an unselfish guy, so everybody on the floor knows that they're a target when he has the ball in his hand. So it's not one of those things where all he wants to do is score and you can fix your defense to that. Like, your defense has to be really, really balanced because there's 2 things that can always happen, right? He can always set somebody up, or he can go out and create for himself. So we just got to do a great job of trying to keep him in front of us, be physical with him, and then, live our system defensively. Like, it's never one-on-one, it's always 1-on-5.
Whether on the court or off the court, has that been anything that kind of surprised you or stood out to you the most about when you had an opportunity to get to know Cade Cunningham?
Just watching him play every single day, like the small things that he's able to do, how he organizes, how he sees the floor, how he thinks the game. You see him obviously from the outside, but when you get to be around him every single day, you see how well he sees the game and how easy the game comes to him.
This was one of the better defensive teams during the preseason, and he talked about just hammering that in practice every single day. That was with a little bit of a slower pace. We have a fast-paced team like Indiana. I guess, how do you not get too sped up and remain locked in defensively?
I mean, it's for us. We always want to dictate the style of the fight, right? And we don't want to get into a game where we're just playing, up and down, back and forth, because that's their strength. So we want to be who we are. We want teams to have to defend us until we get a great shot. So whatever that looks like. And then defensively, we have to be set. We've got to do a great job in transition and make them use the clock and try to eliminate some of that speed.
Does it start with defense for you? And if so, what are the tenets of that defense?
It always starts with defense. Whenever you're trying to build something, being able to get guys to buy into the defensive end of the floor, it helps you hold them accountable in all ways. And I think that's the most important thing. Is being able to hold guys to account. And then, what we try to do is take away the things that everybody in this league wants to do, right? Everybody wants to shoot threes. Everybody wants to get to the rim. So we try to do our best to make teams have to take shots in inefficient areas.
For a team that struggled defensively last year, how has it been getting them to buy into what you've been blossoming?
Again, it comes down to their character of wanting to do what's right. So it was easy. We didn't have to press anybody. We just let them know that this is what we were going to do and that this is what's going to help us win basketball games and grow and become a successful basketball team. So as soon as that was said to them and they understood the why of it, and we try our best to show them that, it was an easy buy-in.
Where have you seen the most growth from Jalen in that regard?
Well, just his ability to protect the paint and understanding how to use the defensive 2-9. And for us, we've been prioritizing, like, our defense is based on how well our big guys protect the paint. So whatever he has to do to be in the paint and spend his time there, to challenge shots, block shots, deter shots, all those things. And I think he's embraced it and gotten really good at it.
There's so many.
I think they fit well together. That was one of the things we wanted to see early on. I think they do a really good job of playing, tit for tat, so to speak, so that one guy doesn't always have to dominate the ball, and it relieves a little bit of pressure off of both of them. It allows both of them to be secondary ball handlers so that everybody's not always staring at them to make the play. Now we can move them around a little bit and let them get the ball. But they are dynamic, and I think they complement one another well.
You came into this season talking about no expectations. We'll see how things go. But you have a lot of players here from last year. As a coach, how do you balance their want to want to get better and want to see those results while also kind of saying and preaching it is a growing process? Yeah,
you want your guys to be competitive, right? And you don't make it to this level if you're not a competitor, so you're not going to take that from them. But just as a coach and being in a position of leadership, you have to embrace what's in front of you. And we're not saying don't go out and try to win basketball games. Our objective is to go out and try to win as many as we can. But we want our guys to understand, and everybody to understand, that we're going to fall in love with the process of getting there. This team will get there, but we want to go through the steps, because what happens in this league, if you skip steps, you pay on the back end. So we're just not going to skip those steps.
How do you handle, it's game one for you as head coach of the Pistons, but there's a fan base that's been so patient watching for years now, this rebuild, and while you step into it, there's an eagerness to see this team win. How do you balance all that?
Honestly, try not to pay attention to it. We know that if we put the team together on the floor and we play stylistically how we want to play, the fans will embrace this team. They understand basketball. We want these guys to compete at a high level. We want them to play selfless. We want to play a way that people can appreciate and respect every single day. We want to dive on the floor, take charges. We want to do the gritty things, the tough-minded things. And we know if we play that way, people will embrace us. And then we've got to learn how to win basketball games. And I think that's where people have to be patient, understand is the fourth quarter and what it takes is different than the first three and a half quarters. And we've got to learn and go through those things together. But, no matter what happens, the way our guys will play, people will be proud of them.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Coach.
Thank you, JD. Appreciate it. Thank you.